Hello, friends, and welcome to the Alleluia Kitchen. We are very excited to be coming at you today from a new location. And the reason we're doing that is because we are going to be sharing 2 recipes to help you celebrate Hobbit Day, which is September 22nd. And September 22nd is Hobbit Day because it is Bilbo Baggins and Frodo Baggins' birthday, which is, of course, a very pivotal point in the beginning of The Lord of the Rings. So we're really excited to share some of these Hobbity recipes with you today. The first one that we are going to be doing is a pork hand pie, which is fantastic for those small adventures into the Shire where you can take something with you to eat. To make our pork hand pies, we first need to make a short crust pastry, which we've got all of the ingredients here. What you'll need for this recipe is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup of cold water, 1/2 cup of room temperature butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 egg for an optional egg wash. To make our short crust pastry dough, we first need to get our flour, which is here. I've already sifted the flour, which is really important when doing anything with flour, really. Always sift your flour. And then we're going to add our salt in with the flour. And we're also going to be putting sugar in here. And then we're going to whisk everything together. Whoop. Making messes. And this just helps to homogenize everything before we start putting in the rest of our ingredients. All right. Now that we've whisked everything together, we want to take our butter and add it into our flour mixture. So we're going to mix in our butter to the flour. And I'm just using a spoon to get it going at first. But then I'll go in with my hands to really make sure that we're getting a crumbly texture. So what I'm doing here is I am squishing the mixture through my fingers to create a pebbly texture with the flour and butter. All right, now that our flour is looking good, which looks like this, we're going to put in our cold water. It'll feel really loose at first, but at some point it will start to all come together and form a ball. And you want to knead your pastry just a little bit, not too much. Just enough for it to come together in this lovely ball. So here we go. Pie crust made. So we're going to put that down for now, and we're going to work on our filling. What you'll need is 1 pound of ground pork. Breakfast sausage also works here. 1 onion, diced. 2 tablespoons of flour. 1/2 tablespoon of thyme. 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. 1 pinch of freshly ground nutmeg. And 1 pinch of coarse salt. With all of our ingredients gathered, let's head on over to the stove to cook the pork and the onions and get all of those good spices in for the filling. The first thing we want to do is brown our pork. So let's go ahead and put it in a pan. I like mashing the pork out so that it'll cook faster. Now that our sausage is browned and rendered out most of its fat, we're going to transfer the pork to another container and watch for popping grease. And then we're going to put our onions in the pan here with all of the grease. We're going to put in our diced onions. And cook them until they turn translucent. Our onions are looking pretty good right now. So we're going to add our sausage back to the pan. Yummy. Looking really, really good. And we're also going to put in all of those spices that we measured out earlier. All right, it's been a couple of minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our flour and we're going to sprinkle over the top. And this is going to thicken up our mixture so that it will hold up well in our pastries. Our mixture is looking really good, so we are going to take it out of the pan. We'll first turn off the heat. So we're going to take it out of the pan and put it in a bowl. And then we're going to let this come to room temperature to cool down, just so it's not too hot when we start handling and putting it in the pastry. Now that we've got our filling made and we're letting it cool off, we need to set our oven to the temperature of 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, our filling has now cooled down to room temperature. Our oven is fully preheated to 375 degrees. So we are ready now to start rolling out that pastry dough that we made earlier. So really exciting. First thing that we need to do, have a clean surface. Honestly, just working on a granite surface is fine. But we'll want to grab some flour, just a small handful, and kind of go over your workspace. That was a large clump there. So flour your workspace, and then you're going to want to take your ball of dough, and then we're going to start pressing it down just to where we're flat enough. And then we're going to take our rolling pin, get a little more flour, put it on top of our pastry, and we're going to roll it out. And we ultimately want this to be 1/4 of an inch. So our pastry is looking really good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get actually a jar to cut out the shape of our pastries, and that will just help keep everything really uniform. So we get our jar. I'm going to be using just a plain old wide mouth mason jar today. So we're going to just kind of press it down and wiggle. And then there we go. We've got a perfectly round little pastry. Now this is quite small, so if you want them larger, that's perfectly fine. You can do larger. So we decided to find a larger size cup to make a bigger pie. So we found this very wide mouth cup from StreamYard. And it has made a much larger circle. So we're going to make these. We're going to cut them out. Again, just like with the mason jar, we're going to put the cup as close to the edge as possible, and then kind of just twist and press. And there we go. We got a beautiful pie crust. now that we've got all of our little pastry rounds cut out, they are ready for filling. So what we're going to do is grab a tablespoon. I'm just using one of the large spoons in a silverware set. And we want to take our mixture and put, for this size, I'm really going to put 1 tablespoon because these are not very big. So we're going to put the filling in, and then you want to get your egg wash from earlier. I'm going to dip your finger in it and then put it around the edge. And this is going to help to seal that together. And then you'll take a little fork and crimp the edges. And again, this just helps to seal it together. And there we go. We got a little sealed pork hand pie. And we're going to do this for the rest of them and then put them on a cookie sheet. So let's get going. Before sticking these in the oven, you want to take your leftover egg wash and give them a light brushing. All right, these are going to go into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. While we're waiting on our pork hand pies to finish cooking, we are going to make our second recipe today, and that is the Farmer Maggot's wild mushrooms on toast. And if you know anything about hobbits, you know that they love mushrooms. So much so that Frodo actually almost gets his companions in trouble when he decides he needs to go get some wild mushrooms to take with them on their journey. And you should definitely read the stories or watch the movies to see what I mean by that. The ingredients that you'll need for the mushrooms on toast is 2 tablespoons butter, 3 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil, plus some extra to serve, 1.5 pounds mixed wild mushrooms, trimmed and sliced, 2 garlic cloves minced, 1 tablespoon chopped thyme, grated zest and juice of 1 lemon, 4 slices of sourdough bread, and 2 cups of mixed salad leaves. So the first thing we'll want to do is put our oil and our butter into the pan and let those melt down together. As soon as the butter stops foaming, you'll want to go ahead and put in your mushrooms. You'll also want to put in your garlic, lemon juice, lemon zest, and then the spices, and give it a good mix. We will also want to put in some pepper, and we're going to cook this down for about 4 to 5 minutes. All right. Our mushrooms are looking really good, so we're going to take them out of the pan and put them in a bowl. All right, our mushrooms are done. So, and this recipe makes 4 servings, by the way, but I'm going to only be making 1 toast since I'm the only one who really likes mushrooms on toast. Josh is not a fan of mushrooms, so that's why we're going to make 1 toast. So I already toasted my sourdough bread. I did that in the air fryer, but you can do it on a pan or in your toaster. Either way is perfectly fine. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab our arugula here. I know we said any salad greens you want. You can do mixed. You could do a spring mix. I really like the arugula though for its kind of like peppery taste. It's really, really nice. So we're going to put a large heap of our arugula on our toast. We're going to take some olive oil, drizzle that on top, And then we're also going to get some lemon juice, and we'll squeeze some of that on. And then here comes the good part. You get your mushrooms. So we're going to put a large heaping. You basically want to have however much of the arugula you put on your toast. That's how much mushrooms you want. So it ends up being quite a bit of food here. I've also got some Parmesan here because why not? Parmesan is delicious. I'm going to take our zester and garnish it on top. All right. How beautiful is our toast? So yummy. And that's it. That is our mushroom toast. Well, the timer just went off for our pork hand pies, so we're going to get them out of the oven. Look how good these look. So excited. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining us for our Hobbit-themed video, where we have made our mushrooms on toast and our pork hand pies. If you would like to see more of this type of content, please let us know down in the comments. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we post a new video. Also, be sure to check out our podcast episode where we discuss the 1970s Hobbit movie. And that's it. We will see you in the next video.